Alright, so this is the topic I've been given to speak, curricula and courses on traditional knowledge in Northeast region. I'm Lavi. I have been accompanied here with Raymond, who's my colleague, and together we worked on this PPT. So I represent the Martin Luther Christian University from Shillong. I thought just, to begin with, perhaps most of you don't know what MSU is all about, so I thought I'll just briefly tell you what MSU is all about. It's a state private university which was established by the Act of the state in the year 2005. And by 2006, that's the time when we started offering courses in the university. In total, right now, we have 16 departments, including centers as well. We offer diploma, undergraduate, postgraduate, and the doctoral studies. The university by itself, we have more of professional courses that we offer. One of the emphasis and rather the principle of the university that we stick with is the experiential learning. We believe that, when you lecture a class, and all of us are intelligent at different level. We all have different kind of intelligence with us. Some of us can learn best by just listening to a lecture, but some of us will learn best when we can hear and we can see. But we realize that at the end of the day, we learn best when you start doing a thing. So when you engage with it, that's when you learn best. So that's why we have a principle called the experiential learning, and that's where the entire realm of engaging with the community comes into picture. So as a university, we are a very community-based university. We are not an ivory tower. We have professors and doctorates and all that. It doesn't work like that. There's no such hierarchy in the university, and we work very closely with the community. Well, this is the mission statement of the university, and if you can just, I'll just read it. To contribute, thanks. To contribute to the sustainable development of Meghalaya and the Northeast region of India by providing knowledge, skills, and values that will enable our students to become global citizens while upholding gender, ethnic, and religious equity for all, conserving its biocultural heritage. And this is where the entire realm of environment and culture come into, and by recognizing, of course, its Christian legacy and commitment. Traditional knowledge we've been discussing from morning, but here what I want to highlight are a few points. For example, when we talk about traditional knowledge, most of the time, but not always, it is transmitted orally, and that's where the problem lies. That's why today we're here and we're talking again and again about documenting it. Another aspect of traditional knowledge is it is owned collectively. It does not. It is. This is a part of the tribal worldview. They see the world as one with each one of us, one with nature. So we have more of a collective outlook at the world, rather the Western worldview, which is more individualistic. So, and of course, when you talk about traditional knowledge, we're talking about, knowledge can come in the form of stories, of folklore, folk tales, poems, cultural values that we have, and so on and so forth. This is just a small status of, the indigenous people that we have. So in India, if you have a look, we are 105 million. Can I be heard? Yeah. Okay, so we are 8.6, we constitute 8.6% of the Indian population. I was also talking in the next slide, actually I had one slide on the indigenous knowledge systems, and here we're talking about the diversity that we have in this system of indigenous knowledge, and and how it can be, how the modernity can come together, whereby the scholars now, talking from the academics point of view, the scholars now can break the colonial barrier. I think we will all agree on this, where we have this colonial barrier, where we we're not able to link again with our culture. And right now we are being able to build the bridge of intersectionality between activism and academic. Also, if we have a look at the SDGs, and if we realize that IKS, or the Indigenous Knowledge System, has inherently encompassed the aspects and, more importantly, the principles of the SDGs, of the Sustainable Development Goals. Well, I had a slide where I was just giving in 2012. That's when the department started, the Department of Environment and Traditional Ecosystem in the university. And in that same year, what we had was a workshop on culture and environment. So what we did was we brought in all students, irrespective of their course, irrespective of their departments. So all the UG and PG students came together. We had a 3-day workshop. We had speakers who were both from academia, from the community. We had yeah, I'll just continue with this. And we had also people who were authors, and they delivered their speech, their talk, and engaged with the students. In the meanwhile, on the third day, so on the first and second day, half the day they were doing these work. They were working among themselves. We asked them students belonging to same tribe, to come together and collectively work. And we gave them some assignments, some questions were there, which they had to work on. And the third day was when they came up and gave a presentation of what their discussions was all about. And we realized that because what we asked them to work on was more about their culture, more about their identity, you can see the enthusiasm in them. You can see that there's a feeling that, okay, this belongs to me. I should be able to represent my tribe properly. And when we ask more things like, narrate a folk tale or folklore, where you actually have, some information or some sort of message for conservation, for example, all right? They came up with these nice narratives, okay? Later on, we also realized that some of the students actually called back their folks at home to understand that better. So that connection was there. So this was the workshop I was talking about. This is in 2012. And on the third day, they were to dress in their attire and give this presentation. It was very, very interesting. These were some of the activities which we asked them to do, some of the questions, something related to environment and culture from their cultural perspective. Okay, we asked them about the role of community in conservation of the environment. We asked about traditional institutions that they could identify in their own tribe or community and what role that they play, or if they feel that they should, change a little bit, maybe perhaps give more importance to other aspects as well. Then the department started in that same year, so it's called the Department of Environment and Traditional Ecosystem. And I thought it will be apt, to have the mission statement here of the department, because this is again it's like the guiding principle for the department. To promote and document environmentally conducive indigenous methods and traditional practices of the region by providing knowledge and skills to the students and inculcate in them a genuine empathy for the environment, to become equipped and competent in understanding, conserving and practicing these methods for livelihood. Livelihood, because we felt that at the end of the day, when students come for degree, many of times they'll be looking forward to a job. So this should culminate to that. As a department, we've been having many subjects, and I've just listed few of them which actually have components of traditional knowledge embedded in them. So, for example, the paper on natural resource management, we had, for example, sacred grove as one of the practices. Health and environment, so we have the traditional medicine systems. Sustainable development and livelihood, we have here the indigenous community approach to sustainable development. We have sustainable techniques in waste management, Media and environmental activism is a subject which we offer as an elective. So besides learning the know-how of media and how you use it, we also have topics on traditional media, which we felt will be more apt to their community. Of course, climate change is there, environmental hazard and disaster management. So here we use, we talk about how indigenous knowledge or traditional knowledge can be used in terms of predicting a hazard. And we have the environmental ethics and, of course, the IPR, where we talk about the protection of TK. We also have a specialization called the culture and environment. We have some of the subjects there is culture, gender and environment, environmental folklore, tribes and environment, and indigenous environmental knowledge. These are some of the activities. I've not been there are too many, so I've just picked few of them. This is one of the training programs that we had at MCC in Chennai, where we sat for a workshop for the students on the documentation of traditional knowledge. And as I said about experiential learning, these are few activities that we carry out for the experiential learning. So we have a lot of field exposure, a lot of field trip, a lot of community camps. So in community camps, at a stretch, we would stay in a community for, let's say, 10 days, and we will have a set of activities that we do with the community. We conduct a lot of awareness programs, workshops, of course, internships and visitations. So a lot of TK is being, again, documented through internships and visitations. This is one of the pictures, the community camp at the Umtong village. So here we had also documented some of the traditional knowledge of that particular village. This is part of the internship. So the picture on the right is a student who is an intern this is in Jendia Hills. So she is actually documenting the local traditional food as that they happen to be the World Food Day celebration as well. These are some of the funded projects that the university has worked on. Some of them is still ongoing, the last one. Here you will see the projects which are funded by UNDP, by Ministry of Health, Government of India, Department of Ayush, DBT, and many of them worked. For example, the first one, UNDP, is on the climate change and the stewardship role that a community play towards combating climate change. The next view is all about traditional healing and traditional systems of medicines, and here we have been able to document not just the traditional medicine herbs, but rather the healer. So we have created this database where there are more than 10,000 healers. This is the entire state. From just few things from this UNDP project, where this was carried out way back in 2011, and at that time when we spoke to the community, we visited 3 villages, and we spoke to the community and asked them, have you experienced any change in the climate? And the answer was yes, and they said we've experienced this for the last 20 and 30 years now. And we did ask them what are the things, and the things that they listed, the symptoms, if I should say, for climate change is what we have documented. Of all these 3 villages, one was Maulunong, one was Tangmang village, and another one was Maulang. 2 villages had their sacred groves, the Lau Adang and the Lau Kentang. However, Tangmang, one of the village, did not have that. But then way back in 1976, which is very recent, the villagers came together and they said, okay, we can feel that the weather is changing too much. We can see so many things are, the agricultural cycle is not going the way it usually goes, so on and so forth. So they said, we need a forest. We need to protect one forest where, it will be there for our future generation. Those were the words. To keep a forest protected for our future generation, to keep a forest protected so that they can get clean air to breathe, right? So this is, 1976. It's very, very recent. So there again comes the traditional knowledge aspect into it, where people had gone back to that. Of course, now we all know Maulunang is place where the ecotourism has really thrived and their livelihood has changed slightly. This is one of the project again. We were in Pasighat, Arunachal Pradesh, and we're doing what we call as the rapid assessment of the local health traditions. Uh, this is again, this is in Jaintia Hills. So we've been meeting with these healers and trying to document that knowledge. You have to really build a rapport, a long rapport with them until the time they're more comfortable and they open up to you. And we also realize that 80% of the people in the state still very much believe in these systems. And when you go to the villages, 60 to 70% of people actually would rather go to a traditional healer. Because as we know, in far-flung areas, the doctors are hard to come by. So these healers are there to take care of even their primary health system. You can see this is again one of the healer with his baskets of herbs, dried herbs. We have carried out few activities for the healers. One of them is bringing them together, helping them form a society so that they can function in a much better way. We've been able to have conventions for them, have awareness program for them, and even conduct some workshops for them. This is from another project which we carried out. It's a diet survey. Okay, all right. It says at 5 minutes. Okay, this is very recently. This is last week. Okay, so we had a national seminar. It's called Folklore, Traditional Knowledge and Art Form. This was held in Narthyam, and we had the seminar open air in a monolith garden. It was not in a hall or anything. We felt that being able to go to that place and have this conversation made more sense. So you can see Dr. Gideon and others are there. We had Dr. Eric Miller as the keynote speakers, and from the Department of Nutrition and Dietetics in the university, they have a subject on traditional food systems. So under that, again, they are offering the course, but also at the same time documenting a lot of that. They also have a project by DST on this. Sorry? We have to ask Aja. Alright, so Warikanga is something which Alino has already touched. Warikanga is a system of conservation of fish. This is being carried out in the Garo Hills. And we realized that as somebody have just said about it, where it was a traditional way of conservation. However, government came into the picture and actually they boosted this, and now it has become a livelihood. So people are not allowed to fish randomly. So what they do is there's a river, the village next to it will say that demarcate the river from here to here. It is being declared as a fish sanctuary, as a Warikanga, and you cannot fish from there. And they will have activities once in a year and other things. So this is what they do. Interestingly, we managed to document few fish varieties which are available in these Warikangas. Those names are all Garo names. And we also met some traditional healers, and we just asked them, okay, from where do you get your herbs or any other resources for your medicines? And interestingly, they said many of them do come from Warikangas, and they explained to us which herb or which fauna was being used to heal what kind of diseases or ailments. So why do we need TK in our curricula? Especially for Northeast, it makes a lot of sense, because here we have majority of us being indigenous people. We know that indigenous people are more comfortable in their own surrounding. We also know that wherever we have indigenous people, biodiversity of that area have flourished. Okay, these are some of the facts that we have. That connection with land is so important for the indigenous people, and this will also help them to be able to relate of what they are learning. So having a place-based learning is as important. Here they can share their knowledge their understanding. They can see similarities in their own context, which is so important. And for them, education will not be a foreign thing. Education will not be something which is alien. And going back to the academics, and as for now, NEP 2020 or the National Education Policy 2020 is the Bible in the university, in the whole country for education. So here again, a lot of provisions are there where they have spoken again and they have stressed on the fact that having our culture and indigenous knowledge in our syllabus is very much encouraged. I think with that, I end my presentation.